So all of you,
In previous class, we have started with VLSM, variable length subnet mask. Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir, audible.
We have started with the VLSM in the previous class, and in this case, I hope you have written like we can reduce the IP address wastage as compared to the subnetting. Like in subnetting, also we were reducing the wastage, but if you compare with the subnetting and VLSM, so VLSM in this case, like we can reduce more number of IP wastage as compared to subnetting. And it is a type of subnetting where like a bigger network can be divided into a smaller network, like how we were doing with the subnetting. But as per the requirement of each and every network, how many hosts is required? I hope you have drawn that in previous class, like one scenario I have given you. There will be a router, two router, and each and every router having some switch and some devices we are connected.
Sir,
Yes,
so just one doubt I had. Sir, all the CCNA courses, you said in the first CCNA one, the practice exam is optional of ITN and the final course. So is it same for the rest of the courses?
yes, all practice exam are optional.
Okay, sir.
That was the scenario in the previous class we have discussed, right? Like there was a one network for this switch where required host is 10. This case, 10 hosts are required. In this case, 2 hosts were required. In this case, I think 4 hosts. And this case, how many hosts were there? Do you remember? 30 hosts. And for this case, there was 20 hosts. And for this case, it was 2 hosts. Right? So that was our requirement. I mean, in the first case, it was 10, second switch. This is our first switch. To the second switch, the third one, the fourth one, and this network to the fifth one. So how many networks are required here? Can you tell me? How many networks are required?
Five.
Am I audible? Am I audible or not? How many networks are required here? What is your answer?
So five. Five, sir.
Five networks are required, right? So if we start with the IP like 200.100.10. Let it be 20.0/24. Okay. And from this network, I need 5 subnetted network. So how do we calculate? This is the formula for calculating this: 2 raised to the power n greater than equal to 5. So n value, what you'll get? If you n equal to 3, if you'll use, obviously it will be greater than equal to 5. I mean, 8 is greater than equal to 5, right? So in this case, 8 bits sorry, n is equal to 3 means what? We have to make it 3 bits as the network bits, right? So in this case, if we'll change the value, so what will be the block size? Can you tell me? 3 bits, just make it in which octet? In the fourth octet, just make it 3-bit 1 from the left to right. And rest of the bit make it 0. And tell me the block size quickly. Already you have done in the subnetting part when we are solving so many problems based on class A, class B, and class C IDs. So tell me the block size for this case. Required network is 5. Reply me in the chat. All of you immediately reply in the chat. What is the block size? Don't sit idle here. Okay, so 32 is the right answer. So how do you get that? In the fourth octet, you have to make it 1, 3 times 1 because n value is 3. The rest of the bit you have to make it 0. So 3, 6, 8. Right? Now tell me the decimal equivalent of this. What is the decimal equivalent of this value?
192.
192.
No, sir. 224.
224.
224.
224. Okay. So you have to calculate the block size. In this case, the block size formula is 256 minus 224. So you'll get the value of 32, right? So here the 32 is what? Is your net block size, and which will be added to the each and every section of your last octet, right? Suppose you're calculating this the first subnet, like subnet 0, so 200.10.20 let it be 0/27, that is my subnet 0. And if we calculate subnet 1, so I have to add the block size 32, so 32/27 and 200.10.20.64/27, right? Like that way I can calculate. So just look at here in these conditions, like whenever we are getting each and every network, we require 5 network. Just think of it. We required the 5 network, and we have calculated, through the subnetting, how to find the 5 network, and how many hosts you can configure the each subnetted network. So how many hosts you can configure from each subnetted network? Can you tell me?
30.
How many hosts you can configure? So from
Visible 30, sir.
1 to 30 hosts you can configure from the each subnetted network. Okay. So in this case, like this switch 3 is required 30 network, then it is fine. 30 host is coming, and 30 hosts are required. And as for our calculation of the subnetting, 30 usable IP we are getting for the host. So this switch 3, whatever devices which we have connected, so that one we can fulfill it. Okay, like 30 hosts we can configure. But just think of it, for this case, switch 4, only 20 only 20 hosts are required. So 10 IP will be wastage. So wastage will be what? 10 IP in this condition. For this switch 4. Just think of it, this between this both the router, how many IP will be wasted? For second, so router to router, 2 IPs are only required. Okay. 2 IPs for the host are required. You got the 30 IPs. So just think of it, 30 minus 2. 28 IP will be wastage. In this case, you required only 10 IPs for the host. So in this case, 30 minus 10. 20 IP will be wastage. And in this case, just think of it, if you required the 4 IP for the host, so just calculate 30 minus 4, 26 IP will be wastage. So in other condition, in only one conditions, like we are not wasting the IPs, right? 100% we are getting the accuracy in this case. But in rest of the condition, loss of IP we are getting wastage. Even we are using the subnetting. Yeah, no doubt. If you go ahead with the without subnetting, thousands of IP will be wasted, or if you use class C, then hundreds of more than hundreds of IP will be wasted without subnetting. We have used the subnetting, we have minimized the wastage definitely, but after using the subnetting, still lots of IP are getting wastage now in these conditions. So the people, those who are working for the all the network related things, and those scientists, they have looked for it, like how we can, as per the requirement basis, how we can minimize all. Even we are using the subnetting, still lots of IP are getting wasted. So how we can minimize more and more? How we can achieve the more accuracy? We can reduce the wastage. So for that concept, is came up with the VLSM. So that is the scenario that we have to understand. So what is the problem? What problem the people were facing earlier, and now what is the solutions? What solution we have came up with, and what are the techniques we have used uh, to reduce this problem? So through VLSM, we can reduce more wastage of IP as compared to the subnetting. Okay, but we cannot get in VLSM also, we cannot get 100% accuracy. Like 4 IP is required, so 4 only you will get. 3 IP is required, so 3 only you will get. That is not possible, but anyhow, you can, as compared to subnetting, definitely you can reduce. That we can do it through the subnetting. Okay, so through the VLSL. So what we should right now, we have to go ahead with the each and every cases, and we'll do the subnetting on the basis of required number of hosts. So you all know that how do we calculate, like as per the requirement of the host, how do you find the subnetting? Okay, so let's start now. In each and every conditions we'll consider and we'll do the subnetting. So just look at here. We have a total 5 subnets are required. Total subnets. Just mute it, guys. Someone has unmuted. 22571. 220571. Just mute it. Ayan Bhatia. Yeah. So just look at here. Total 5 subnets are required in this case. That was the condition. And the first subnet required 30 hosts. Okay. Then we required that, second subnet. How many hosts? 20 hosts required. Subnet 0, just we are removing it. I mean, generally, in the industries, in the real world, like people don't generally configure the subnet 0. Okay, so we can skip the subnet 0. So we'll start with the first subnet, second subnet. Then there will be a third subnet. In this case, 10 hosts are required. Then we have fourth subnet, where we have a requirement of 4 hosts, and there will be a fifth subnet where it is required 2 hosts. Okay, that is our scenario. So that is our requirement. So this requirement, like who will give? The client will give to the particular service provider, whoever will be providing IP services for those people. I mean, that all the client will give this requirement. Accordingly, they will make the subnetting. Okay. So just start with the first case. The first case is first subnet, and where 30 hosts are required. Okay. So in the subnet 1, 30 hosts required. Right. That was the condition. So here, like our normal that what network that has been given in the question, right? So the network was network ID, like you can say that 200.10.20.0 it was, right? And if you'll compare the subnet mask, so it is a class C IP. So what is the subnet mask? So it will be 255 and 0. Yes or no? So in this case, you can calculate that network ID. So first of all, you have to calculate the network ID, because class C, so we can directly write that this value. But if it is not a class full IP, or it will be a classless IP, so in this case, what we have to do? We have to do the AND operations. So if we'll do the AND operation, this will get 200, this one is 10, this one is 20, and this one will be 0. Okay. Now the formula for the required number of hosts, I hope you all knows that. What is the formula, guys, for calculating 30 hosts are required? So which formula will apply?
2 to the power n minus
2
2.
to the power n minus 2.
That should be greater than equal to 30. Okay. So what will be the n value? Just think of it. N equal to, suppose you'll use 5. So it will get the 32, and 32 subtracted by 2, you'll get 30, and 30 is greater than, I mean, equal to 30. So we can consider this value, n equal to 5 is accepted. Okay. Now in this case, if n value is 5, it means that the number of zeros required is 5. From where? From the right to left. So this n equal to 5 is what? So number of zeros required. number of zeros required. Okay, and which is what equal to 5, right? So what you will do, as usual, like when required host is 30, so you'll go ahead with that particular subnet mask for that network. Like we have a 200.10.20.0, and the subnet mask is 255. I mean, you just make it 8 times 1. It is for also 8 times 1. So I'm just making 0, 8, and just make it, we require 5 number of zeros. So from the right to left, just fix it, this 0. 5 0, just fix it. And remaining bit, just you have to change to 1. This will be changed to 1. This one will also be 1. This one will also be 1. And this one just make it 0. Done. And remaining bit as usual. I mean, done. So after calculating these values, now we have to find the block size, right? So in this case, the new subnet mask, what you got? What is the new CIDR value? Slash 20
27.
slash 27. That is our CIDR values. So the changes happen in the last octet, and what is the decimal equivalent of this?
224.
224, right? So now calculate the magic number or block size. 256 minus 224. What you'll get? 32. The 32, I mean, first and last will separate, then you will get the 30. Okay. So in this case, if we'll calculate that the subnet 0, so it is similar to the subnetting, right? I mean, in few cases, you will see that is the same value you are getting, how you are getting the subnetting, the same way you will get here also, right? But when you will find that differences when you require a less number of hosts. So where it required 2 hosts, where it is required 4 hosts, where it will be required 10 hosts. So on those cases, you will find that this result is more precise, more accurate, and having the more accuracy and more, I mean, less number of wastage as compared to subnetting, where you will find the more accuracy on there. So we'll come up with that. So first we have to go ahead with this case, like where 30 hosts were required. So our the subnet 0, suppose I'm configuring subnet 0. So what will be the ID of subnet 0 in this situation? Like if you need subnet 0, so what will be the ID? 200.10.20.0/27. That is for the subnet 0. And if we calculate that network address for the subnet 1, what is the value? 210.20.32/27. Yes or no? So accordingly, you can configure all this. What if you'll start, configuring the IP from the subnet 1. So the first IP of the host will be what? Can you tell me? First IP of the host. Which IP?
200.10.20.1.
20.33/27. First IP. Suppose I'm not
After the
using
subnet.
subnet 0. Suppose I'm not assigning subnet 0 to the host. I'm starting with the subnet 1 and start assigning that, that the IP to the host from the subnet 1. So in this case, the first IP for the host, what it will be? First IP for the host, what it will be? 200.10.20.33/27. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand? Okay. Now the last address, subnet 1.
And subnet 1 will
Last,
not use the 32 IP, right?
no,
Like the first.
subnet 2, sub 32 will define the subnet 1 network address. 32 is the network address, so we cannot assign to any of the host. That will identify your network of the subnet one. This is called as a net address, I mean network address. You can write it down in your copy also. Okay. Now the first host IP. This is the first host IP, first host address. Okay. If the condition is that if we are start assigning the IP to the host from the subnet one, not from the subnet 0. In many cases, like many industries that they don't use subnet 0 IP. So they use that subnet 1 IP. From the subnet 1 start assigning the IP. So in these conditions, what you will do? So your first host address will be 33. And what will be the last host address in these conditions? What will be the last host address? Can anyone tell
Dot
me?
63. Dot 200.10.20.60.
Last host address. Tell me 200.10.20. What it will be?
63.
63.
63 is the broadcast address, not a last host address. 62 62/27. If you'll say that 63, what is the address? 200.10.20.63/27 is the broadcast address. Broadcast address of this network. This address will not be assigned to any of the host. Remember this. That is not been used. So first address and broadcast, many time I have told you. This address and this address, first and last address. That is not going to be used, not used this case. And every time you're making a silly mistake, guys, don't do this type. The question will come in your exam, and maybe a scenario will be given in your interview. And by mistake, if you say this, they'll understand that you don't have knowledge of this. So you have to mention always first and last address will not be used for the host. Only the IP, like the first IP will start as a, like here in this case 33, and the last address for the host it will be 62. So how many IP you can configure in this case? From this to this, 33 to 62. Total how many IP you can assign to the host?
30.
30, right? So 30 IP that will be used for the host. And we have the required host is 30. That is fulfilled. That is fine. But now the another scenario is that, like just think of it. In other cases, we have a requirement 20 host. Now just go ahead with that for the 20 host. Same thing. Now we go ahead with the second case. This is our second case. In the second case, where we'll do the subnetting for how many hosts? 20 hosts. So second case is for the subnetting for it was 20 hosts, right? For this case, we will consider. So just simply what you will do in this case, when just see now here there will be some changes. Just understand that. Like when you have used that some of the subnetted network, right, for the first case. So here is some tricky things like the previous one, whatever thing you did it now. So that is the all directly is based on the subnetting. No new things were there, right? Now here when you go for the next case, there you'll use the concept of VLSL. So what you'll do when you require 20 hosts, so on that case, your network from where you'll start, what will be your network ID? Whether you'll use 200.10.20.0 or will you use 200.10.20. Like next subnet? What do you think? Anyone tell me?
The
Because
second
subnet. So next subnet we have to use here. Remember this. So subnet 1 we have used for the what? The first case. Subnet 1, just I have told subnet 0, we don't, in industry people don't assign to any of the host the IP from the subnet 0. They reserve those IP, okay, for defining their own network and all. There are so many purposes are there, so many reasons are there why they don't use that subnet 0, but they start using from the subnet 1. Okay, so subnet 1 we have ended with the which IP address? What was the IP of the subnet 1? Last IP of subnet 1? Last IP. I mean, not for the host I'm asking. Only I'm asking last IP of the subnet 1.
Sir, 200.10.20.63.
200.62.
50?
63, sir.
63. It was 63, right? So subnet 2 it will start from what? 200.10.40. What was the IP of subnet 2?
64.
64, right? So 64, when you are using those IP, right? So there at that point of time, your subnet mask, right? Your subnet mask is supposed to be what? 27? I mean, sorry, your CIDR values would be 27, right? So here, when you go for the second case, your network ID will be of the subnet 2. Remember this. Your subnet 2 is going to use for the second case. Like previously, what we are doing, as many IP are there, we are keep wasting those IP, the subnetting. We are not considering different case from the different subnet, right? We are using different separate cases for the each and every what switches wherever that host were configured, right? So here what we'll do, we will use that the same network ID of the subnet 2. So what I'll write here 200.10.20 dot next case is what? This is 64. So 64 is our subnet to ID. That is my network. Remember this. That will be my network address. Okay. So in this case, just think of it for this, like your subnet mask, you all know that, like what will be the CIDR values of this case. So here we have a requirement of 20 hosts. Now do the calculation for this case. The required host is 20. So what is the formula? 2 raised to the power n minus 2 greater than equal to 20. So in this case also, I mean, the value of n will be 5 only. Just check with that. If you use 4, so it will be 16 and it will not be greater than and less than equal, greater than and not equal to 20. So we have to use 5 only, right? So n is 5. It means that you have to just fix this 5 bits what that from the right to the left from the host bit as a 0, right? So in this case, suppose I'll be using subnet mask of 255. So just make it in binary 255 and also 255. And there the values was 00, right? And when we have changed the values, so we have to 5 bits we have changed. I mean, keep it fixed, and we have changed the rest of it. I mean, this one is 11, remaining bit is 00/27, right? So this CID, new CID value is /27, and this value is as it is 11. Right? And now what you will do, you will calculate the magic number. So in this case, you will get the same values. I mean, this is your 24, and when you will calculate the magic number, you'll get 256 minus 224, which is equal to 32, right? So here, like when you're using the subnetting, there also you got the 30. You're supposed to get the 32, and in this case also you are getting this what is a 32. So not that much reduced, like not wastage has been that much reduced as compared to the subnetting, right? So, but in other cases, you will find that some differences definitely it will be there. Okay, so just go ahead with the creating the subnet. So what we will do, we have to write the first subnet 2. So our subnet 2 is just look there. Here can write like subnet 2. Okay, so subnet 2 is what like 200.10.20 dot what is the value 64/27, right? So this is my subnet 2. Now the when I'll go for the next I mean address from the subnet 2. What will be the first and last host address? Can you tell me? First and last host address.
First will be, sir, 200.10.20.65.
65/27, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
when you go for the last address, last
126.
host address,
Dot 94.
94, sir. 94.
200.20. What will be 94
4, sir.
slash 27? That will be my last address, okay? And the broadcast address will be 210.20.95
Not like five.
slash 20. And what will be my subnet 3 address? Subnet 3 ID, what it will be? 96, right? Slash 27. Yes or no? So just see here, like here, when you're getting this value, just think of it. Here we cannot say directly that slash 27 because in subnet 3, we have to do the calculation and on that basis, we will find the CIDR values. Okay. The subnet 3 slash 27, I cannot directly write. So as per now, I will check with the next requirement that how many hosts are required. On that basis, we'll check. Similarly, for this also, in subnet 2, like in previous cases I have used, na, just think of it. Subnet, okay, subnet 2 I had not written in this case. So here, if we will be writing the subnet 2 ID like 200.10.20.64 slash what it will be the values that I have to check with the next requirement, which I have did it here. Next requirement was again the same values that I got, na, n values is same. So that's why we got the slash 27. तो जो हमारा रिक्वायरमेंट था वहां पे एन वैल्यू एक्चुअली ये डिफर करता है एन वैल्यू से। अगर एन वैल्यू दोनों केसेस में सेम हुआ इसलिए सीआईडीआर वैल्यू भी सेम आ गया। लेकिन अगर एन वैल्यू डिफरेंट करेगा ना, डिफर करेगा, तो तुम्हारा सीआईडीआर वैल्यू अगला सबनेट में चेंज हो जाएगा। तो यहाँ पे जो नेक्स्ट सबनेट मेरा जो थर्ड सबनेट जो है, मेरे को 5 सबनेट चाहिए। रिमेंबर दिस, आई नीड 5 networks. That was my scenario. 5 network requirement were there, and each and every network should have the specific, or we can say that the required number of hosts, like somewhere 30, somewhere 20, somewhere 10, somewhere 4, somewhere 2, like that. Okay, so when I have used the subnet 2, there I have got the n values this 3. So that's sorry, n value I got the 5. So due to that we got the CIDR value same. And in the first subnet also, when I use subnet 1, for the required host is 30, there also I got the n value is 5. So due to that, we got that CIDR value 27. In both the cases, 27 is fixed. But when we'll go for the third case, where requirement of host is 10, their n value will be changed. And when n value will be changed, accordingly, CIDR value will be also be changed. And third subnet will come up with the new CIDR values. Remember this. So now let's move ahead with the third subnet where requirement host of or required host is what is a 10. So here you can write it down. Like after this, when you go for the required host,
Sir,
host
I have a question.
equal to 10. Yeah, ask me.
सर हम लोग जब पहली बार चेंज किए थे CIDR वैल्यू लाइक इन वाज 3 सो हम लोग का 27 आया था। उसके बाद जब हम लोग सबनेट 1 के लिए निकाले तब हम लोग उसको चेंज नहीं किए, वो 27 ही था, राइट?
चेंज नहीं किया मतलब एन वैल्यू सेम आ गया ना, इसीलिए। मतलब सबनेट 2 के लिए जब किए, सबनेट 0 को छोड़ दो, सबनेट 0 यूज नहीं होगा। सबनेट 1 जो था वहां पे एन वैल्यू हमारा आया था 5। जब सबनेट
यस
2
सर।
करने गए तो वहां पे भी हमारा रिक्वायर्ड होस्ट जो 20 था, एन वैल्यू आ गया था 5। इसीलिए हमारा जो है सीआईडीआर वैल्यू सेम आ गया। चेंज नहीं किए थे मतलब सेम
हम
आए थे,
लोग
इसलिए नहीं चेंज किए थे। अगर रिक्वायरमेंट के बेसिस पे अगर एन वैल्यू चेंज करता तो मुझे चेंज करना पड़ता। डिड यू अंडरस्टैंड?
सर फिर
अभी
27 24 के साथ चेंज हो रहा है या लाइक
हाँ
पहले तो
हाँ,
24
मेन
था।
वैल्यू जो, हाँ, जो क्लास सी का मेन जो तुम्हारा सबनेट मास होता है उसी के हिसाब से ही
हाँ
चेंज करना है। रेफरेंस तुम्हारा वही
सर,
रहेगा,
उससे
क्लास
फिर
सी का ही।
5 ऐड होगा ना?
सॉरी,
सर 24 और यहाँ पे 5 था तो 5 ऐड होगा।
5 क्या ऐड होगा? अरे तुमको तो बताया है
सर
मैं कि
इनका
एन
वैल्यू
वैल्यू जो आता है वो 0 करते हैं ना राइट से। और उसके बाद बाकी जो बिट बनता है उसको 1 करते हैं तो 5 कैसे ऐड हो जाएगा? हमारा कितना बिट बचा है? अरे तुम समझी नहीं है कुछ
5
भी
bit
तुम्हारा। तुम्हारा क्लास पहले सब मिस किया लग रहा है तुम। 5 आने का मतलब क्या है? 5 बिट्स जो है तुमको जीरो करना है, 1 2 3 4 5। ये हम लोग रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ होस्ट कर रहे हैं, नॉट नेटवर्क। अगर रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ नेटवर्क करते तब हम लोग 5 1 करते लेफ्ट से राइट। लेकिन हम लोग किसके बेसिस से सबनेटिंग अभी कर रहे हैं? रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ होस्ट के बेसिस से। और जब होस्ट के बेसिस से जब होता है तो बाकी जो जीरो जो है उसको राइट से लेफ्ट की तरफ उसको फिक्स करना होता है, और रिमेनिंग जो जीरो है उसको 1 करना होता है। और जितने 1 ऐड होंगे और प्रीवियस जितने 1 है उन टोटल को सम करने से जो वैल्यूज आएगा वही हमारा सीआईडीआर वैल्यू होता है। तो यहाँ से देखो 8 ये हो गया, ये 8, 16, ये 24, और ये 3 जो जो हमारा 1 जो हुआ। आई मीन 8 बिट्स 1 इधर रहा, 8 बिट्स 1 इधर रहा, 8 बिट्स 1 इधर रहा, राइट। तो 24
अच्छा
बिट्स
अच्छा,
1 हो
हाँ
गए
हाँ समझ
और
गई।
बाकी का 3 बिट ये हो गया। तो इसलिए 27 लिखा मैंने। अगर तुम जो बोल रही है ना वो है केसेस किसके लिए? नेटवर्क के लिए। वो एन वैल्यू जो आता है वो नेटवर्क बिट में ऐड हो जाता है। वो हम कब करते हैं? जब रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ नेटवर्क रहता है। वो तो पहले हमने कर लिया था, उसमें 5 नेटवर्क का रिक्वायरमेंट था, वो कैलकुलेशन ऑलरेडी वी हैव डन। तो वो यहाँ पे मिक्सअप मत करो, यहाँ पे होस्ट का रिक्वायरमेंट है। इसलिए दो टाइप का सबनेट मैंने स्टार्टिंग में ही तुम लोगों को पढ़ाया था। देयर आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ सबनेट। वन इज द ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ होस्ट, एंड सेकेंड इज द, I mean, the first I have explained, I think, on the basis of requirement of network, and the second one was the requirement of host. Okay, so accordingly, the formula is also changed. Accordingly, that the n values is getting changed, and accordingly, you have to change the 0 or 1. So from the, if you are going for the host calculation, so from the right to the left, that whatever n value you'll get, just you have to fix the zeros from the right to left in the network, sorry, in the host bits. Okay, and remaining bits you have to make it 1. If your required number of network is suppose 3, so required number of network conditions, on that basis n value you got 3. So n value, if it is 3, so you have to simply add that, 3 0 from the host bit, convert this 3 0 to the 3 1, and just add in the total network bits. Like previously, suppose you have a 24 bits as a network bits, so just add 3 more bits and it will become 27. So that is the cases that you have to understand, and accordingly you have to calculate the values. Okay, so let's move ahead with the third case. That was
Sir, I have
required
one
host
doubt.
was, yeah, tell me.
Sir, why are we stopping at 93 or 94 in last subnet? Like earlier, we used to go till 256. Then why are we stopping here
So this is
at?
the VLSM we are doing now.
Yes, sir.
VLSM,
But sir, how
that is
how
the
do we
concept
decide
of,
that we should stop at this IP?
because network has been finished now. VLSM, just understand that. Like you can go up to what? One network, how many IP you can configure? One sub. Each and every subnetted network, it will
Yes, sir.
behaves like a different network. Remember this. When you go for the VLSM, in our scenario, just see the scenario first. Just look at that. Yeah, just look at that. This one. In this case, in each and every cases, we have not a equal number of hosts are required. In each and every cases, there will a different number of hosts required. Here is 30 hosts
Yes, sir.
required. Here is 20. So when we will create one subnet for this conditions, this condition having one subnet. So in this subnet, 30 host is required only. If we'll go for subnet 2, so where we will required host is 20 or maybe 30 or whatever that is given in the questions. If we'll go for subnet 3, maybe required host is 10. If we'll go for subnet 4, maybe required host is 4. Or if we'll go for the fifth subnet where required host is 2. So due to that, when we are doing the calculations, just look at there. Just see. When we are doing here the calculation, so we have started with the subnet 2 where the ID we got 64, and first subnet we got 65/27. Okay, and from the slash 27, and when it reached to 95, just see here. So we have in a second subnet, we have requirement of host is, I think mentioned earlier, 20. Just see here. The 20 hosts were required. So we have to use from the 65 to 94. From the 65 to 94, that much of IP are available for the host. So out of this IP, I can use 20 IPs for the host. Remaining whatever rest IP will be, that IP will be wastage. But anyhow, like in this case, like you can say that, sir, in the subnetting also we are getting the same values, right? So where the IP will also be some IP were wastage. This case also some IP are wastage, that is fine. So in next case, when you go for the the third requirement where the host is 10, right? So on that case, definitely you will reduce more wastage as compared to the previous subnetting. So that's why when we have started with the 65 and we have landed with the 95, where it was my broadcast address, and before of that I can use 65 to 94. These are the IP for the host. And when I go for the next network, I mean next network in the sense next subnetted network. So that will my subnet 3, and my subnet 3 ID will be 200.10.20.96 because 95 is a broadcast address. So next address will be 96. So that's why this address will not be what used for the same what the host where the 20 is required. This network will go for the next requirement. I will next requirement is what is a 10 number of 10 number of hosts are required, right? So our when I'll write the subnet 3, so just see here, subnet 3 is what my ID will be 200.10.20.96 slash what it will be, that will be decided as per the requirement of the host. So now you have to do the again calculations because the required number of hosts is 10. So similarly, you have to use the formula like 2 raised to the power n minus 2 greater than equal to 10 and find the value of n. What you'll get n value, guys? 4. If you'll get 4, so just check with the magic number and convert these values. So here, first of all, you have to use that general that your subnet mask like 255.255.255.0. So just you have to write like 255.255.255. That is for the class C, and then you have to write the binary values of that, convert it in the binary form.
So whenever it is a class less addressing, like it is outside of classful addressing, we need to do the AND operation.
Yes. So now the next values is like we have to change that 4 bits. Here the row host is required now, so 4 zeros that will be fixed, and remaining bit you have to change. So it will become 1, 1, 1, and 1. So what is the value?
240.
244.
4. So this value we are getting 240, right? So if you get 240, so just calculate the magic number.
16.
256 minus 240, 16, right? So now just start figuring your particular subnet and that host and IP as well as your broadcast address and everything. So just write it. Subnet 3 is subnet 3 address, network address, that is net address, what it will be. So 200.10.20.96 slash what it will be, guys. अभी क्या
28.
28.
हाँ 28. तो हमारा देखो सबनेट 3 जो है, अगर हम पुराना वाला कंसेप्ट यूज करते, सोचो अगर मैं खाली सबनेटिंग VLSM यूज नहीं करता, केवल सबनेटिंग यूज करता, तो यहाँ पे मैं /27 ही यूज करता, राइट? और /27 जब यूज करता तो मेरे को आईपी जो है 30 आईपी मुझे मिलते। 30 आईपी मिलते किसके लिए? होस्ट के असाइन करने के लिए। और उसमें से मेरे को 10 चाहिए था, तो मेरा 20 आईपी वेस्ट होता, राइट? अभी देखो कितने आईपी मिल रहे हैं, कितना वेस्टेज हो रहा है, जस्ट जस्ट चेक इट। सो फर्स्ट मैं होस्ट का एड्रेस लिखता हूँ।
So this
होस्ट
28 getting by 24 plus 4, right?
sorry 28, how will got that I need to show like this one is 24, this is
Yes,
20,
yes.
sorry, this is 8 bits, this is 8 bits, this is 8 bits of 1. Okay, so 8 that is 24, and this one 4 bits of 1 that you will add with the 24 bits of 1, so it will become 28 bits. So that's why here we got the /28. 24 plus 4 bits, just we have to make.
Yes, sir.
Now look at here. So in this case, this is your net address, and where we got the value of 200.10.20.96/28, and the first host address, it will start from 200.10.20.97. So 97 will be the first host address of third subnetted network /28. What will be the broadcast address? Can you tell me?
Dot triple one.
Broadcast
Dot 1 1 1 1.
So 200.10.20. What it will be, guys?
111.
111.
111. Very good. 111, and sorry, slash, this is 28. Okay. And next subnet will start, like if you write the subnet 4, what will be the IP? 200.10.20.112.
112.
But
One
what
one
is the
two.
subnet mask? That I can't write directly here, because as per the requirement of host, new CIDR value will come. So you can give the question mark here. That will calculate in the next case, right? So here, what exactly is going on? Just now we have to analyze that. Okay. So in this case, how many IPs are available for the host? Just tell me, because we have started with the 97, and the last IP for, let me write, last IP of host. Last IP for what it will be? 200.10.20.100. 110. Yes. So now the value started, just think of it, /28 it will be. So from 97 to, let's do analysis, 97 to 110. That much of IP we have configured for the host from the subnet 3. So total how many IPs are available for the host? 14 IPs.
14.
How many IPs were required? Can you tell me?
10. 10.
10. Now understand that 10 IP were required for the host. So 10 IP were required, to 14 we got. So how many IPs were wasted? 4 IP wasted. Now this is the concept of VLSM. Just understand that 4 IP were wasted. If you will not use, just think of it. If you will not use the VLSM concept, only if you are using subnetting, how many IP will be wasted? How many IP will be wasted, guys? अगर आप लोग
20.
केवल सबनेटिंग यूज करते तो तुम्हारा आईडी क्या होता? /27 होता। 1 मिनट रुको तो। Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so previously, if you are not using this VLSM, so how many IP were wasted? Just think of it when you're using slash 27 and there in each and every
20
subnet,
over, sir.
30 IP were getting it in each and every subnet. And you're here as per the requirement, like 10 IP were only be what required for the host. So when you calculate 20 IP were wasted. So now in VLSM, only 4 IP you are wasting in these conditions. So see how many 16 IP wastage that you have minimized through the VLSM. So that's why that is the reason that why VLSM people also using it in industries. So you can reduce the wastage in this case. Just think of it. Previously 20 IP were wasting. Before of that, before subnetting again, more than hundreds of IP were wasted, right? Before without subnetting, right? Only if you are using classful like this. When we have came up with the subnetting, then again you reduce the wastage. When we have came up with the VLSM, again you have also reduced the wastage. 100% we are not getting accuracy, but anyhow that we are just minimizing that as much as possible, right?
So can you
Now,
show the without subnetting calculation once?
sorry,
Without VLSM, sorry.
without VLSM, you do that na calculations from your side. I have already taught you like without VLSM how you do the subnetting. हमारा जो रिक्वायरमेंट है कितना होस्ट का रिक्वायरमेंट है 10 होस्ट का रिक्वायरमेंट है उसके बेसिस से करो और सबनेटिंग पहले खुद से तुम लोग को कितना सारे क्वेश्चन भी दिया था असाइनमेंट में हैव यू डन दैट ऑल क्वेश्चन ऑल ऑफ यू गाइस इन असाइनमेंट आई हैव पोस्टेड आई
Yes,
थिंक
sir.
टुडे इज द लास्ट डेट टू सबमिट योर असाइनमेंट्स हैव यू गॉन थ्रू ऑल द क्वेश्चंस
Yes, sir. Done.
Yes, sir.
previous classes questions. So just to use that concept and calculate that how many IPs that you'll get without VLSM or with VLSM. Now I'll again give you some questions today, like we'll using subnetting and using VLSM. In both the cases that you have to calculate the values and then you have to compare with how many IP that you are going to minimize, like the wastage of the IP, how many you are going to minimize it in the VLSM. That also you'll do. That questions also I'll post in the classroom. Okay. So without without VLSN, when we are using subnetting, so we are simple what we are doing it. We have calculated that requirement number of host, and on that basis we have simply like if you have required number of network is 5. So initially when I have shown you here, I think let me show you. Yeah, this condition just see here. So where this is the case where directly the network is required. So on the basis of subnetting, I did it. So this is the subnetting conditions where the required number of network was 5. So if I did the subnetting, so what I got, the block size, I got it like 32. So in each and every cases, what I'm getting it here, 30 IPs, I'm getting it for the host. And on that basis only, the 30 out of 30, you have to allocate to the host. Where you require 10, where you require 20, where you require 2, where you require 4, whatever it will be required, but out of 30 only you have to configure. Remaining IP is not going to be used. That is all of the wastage, right? So that is the case that we have considered. But as per the, each and every conditions and the required host, when we are going through the VLSM, so we are in each and every cases, we are seeing that the some IPR, we are just saving it, right? Now the next two cases are left. So do we have the time? Let me check. Yeah, so today MAM class is not there, so I can take it, right? So here we have that, two cases are left. That is for the 4 IP1, 4 host required host is 4. This case is left and required host is 2 is left. So just you people just try it from your side, and I'll ask you the what will be the subnet 4 ID, what will be the block size, subnet 1 address, last address, broadcast address, everything I'll ask you. So just solve it and let me know. All of you just try now. Solving it, guys?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So once you complete this, just reply in the chat. The answer you are getting.
आज तुम लोगों ने किया क्या बताओ तो मेरे को काम आमा कैसी चलो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का क्या हुआ।
अरे गुल्लक का अपना उसका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हो गया, ठीक है। स्पिल बॉक्स का अपना बीटल का हो गया, अपना
Okay, tell me what is the CIDR value for subnet 4?
29.
9. Okay. Here 200.10.20.112/29. Okay. So required host was 4. So 2 raised to the power n minus 2 greater than 4. So n value, I hope you got 3, right? Yes. 2 is forgetting yourself in this. So n value is 3, right? So if you 3 bits, if you have get a 0, so remaining bits just you have to make it 1. I mean 29. That is correct one. I mean 24 plus 5, so it is 29. Okay. So the next values, the IP, like when you will start for the host, so it will be starting from where? So like the your values is what? The block size you have calculated. Have you calculated block size?
Yes, sir.
The block size
8.
56 minus 256 minus what? 248 you got.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
248.
Yes, sir, 248.
Okay, so 8 you have the values, right? Okay. So now we'll start from 100, 13 and 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what is the last address? Broadcast address, what it was? Tell me broadcast address.
119.
119.
119.
19. And the next one is 11120. 120 slash, you don't know this value, that one will be calculated. That is my subnet 5. And the ID is 200.10.20.120. Okay, that is my subnet 5. So subnet, just now we do the analysis for subnet 4. So we have started from 113, it goes up to 118. So how many IP are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 IP. 6 IPs for the host. Required IP is 4. You got the 2 IP wastage. Just think of it. 2 IP, only 2 IP are wasted. Just see, guys, how much of wastage you have reduced. Only 2 IP are wasted in this case. Think of it, the previous, methods when you're using it. So where so many IP were wasted. So see, we are reducing as much as possible that IPs. Only 2 IP were wasted. So now the next case, if we'll start for the only what 2 hosts. So what was the value we are getting for the 2 hosts only? नेक्स्ट बताओ, 2 होस्ट के लिए क्या आया था तुम्हारा? n-2 greater than equal to 2. So n equal to, you'll get it 4. Sorry, n equal to 2, right? So if n is 2, 2 bit make it what fixed. So what is the block size? 456 minus 252. So you'll get it 4. Okay. So 4 if you have got, and what is the CIDR value?
30.
30. Very good. 30. So here you will type 30 here, right? And the next IP for the host 221. Then it will be 222, 122, 123, 124, right? So we will start, how many block sizes? 4 now. So when you will go ahead with the next IP, what is the first IP for the host?
121.
Slash 21. And what is the broadcast address?
123.
123. So 123 is the broadcast address. So just think of it, only 2 IPs that we have required, and in this case we got the IP 121, 122/30/30. These are the 2 IP required and 2 IP only got. We have got the 100% accuracy, guys. Here 100% we have achieved that accuracy. 0 IP were wasted in this case. So see how the VLSM is important. Now we don't require next conditions is not there, so we will stop it here only. Like that way you have to do that, VLSM questions. Okay, so I will give you the homework, like there is a one IP, that is your assignment. Assignment number, I think it will be, what is the assignment number, guys? 4 or 5? 4 I have given, I think. 5 it will be, maybe. Just you can check it.
Yes, sir.
5.
So your requirement is like you can draw the scenario in your notebook. I'm not pasting this question in the your assignment section. Only I'm just writing that previous class assignment. Why? Because some students don't give those who are not coming to the classes. Those who are regular, they will only do the things. Those are not to let them trouble, let them suffer these things. तुम लोग जो क्लास आ रहे वही करो, जो लोग नहीं आ रहे कुछ भी मत इंफॉर्मेशन पर, तभी वो लोग अंडरस्टैंड। वो लोग सोच रहे हैं कि रिकॉर्डिंग मिल जा रहा है, उन लोग को लग रहा है कि बच्चे जो है दोस्त लोग है वो लोग दे देंगे, कुछ भी शेयर मत करो। अभी कॉम्पिटिटिव पूरा दुनिया हो गया, बी कॉम्पिटिटिव में, डोंट डू शेयर एनीथिंग, लेट देम ट्रबल। So this is the question. We have that two routers, okay, and where I have connected some switches, and let it be. I'm just connecting few more switch, okay, like here. How many network? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let it be 4 network. Fine. And in this case, here the required host is 40. Here required host is 50. This side is 20. And this side required host is 2. Okay. So on that basis, you have to the subnetting. The ID I'm just giving it 192.168.10.0/24. ये हमारा नेटवर्क आईडी है और तुम्हारा सिनेरियो है कि यू हैव टू कॉन्फ़िगर 40 होस्ट फॉर दिस स्विच and 2 host for this between router to router, and here 20 host you have to configure. This side you have to configure 40 host. Okay, that's all. I mean, total 4 network we have and 4 conditions we have. Okay, so this one you have to complete and do all the calculation on your notebook and paste it in the classroom. Take the image and don't submit in the Word file or any other file. So I need the handwritten calculations. Okay, and it should be, the image will be uploaded in your class. Okay, so we'll see you in the next class. So ma'am class is not there today because most of the time I have taken. So last only 30 minutes is left. So she will take your in the next class. Let's go ahead with the next class onwards.
Sir, can we upload it in PDF format?
PDF format, I mean, you'll solve, I mean, by
I will
own and
solve
let
and then
take
make
the
a
image and
PDF
you
then
convert to the
upload it.
PDF. Yeah, then
Yes,
it is
sir.
fine. Either
Oh, okay.
image or PDF, that is acceptable, but just the main condition is that it should be a handwritten. So whether
Yes,
your
sir.
file, that how it will be submitting, that is all up to you. Okay. So क्या क्या CCN का क्या जनरेट नहीं होगा? As हाँ हाँ, वो होगा 30। तो वो जितने भी बैच है ना वो 29 और 30 में होगा तुम्हारा सारे बैच जनरेट। अच्छा, एक चीज और तुम लोग को बताना है, जो भी सर्टिफिकेट तुम लोग अपलोड कर रहे हो ना ये लिंक्डइन वगैरह में, वहां पे सर्टिफिकेट का एक सीरियल नंबर होता है, वहां पे आईडी वगैरह दिया रहता है उस सर्टिफिकेट, ग्लोबल सर्टिफिकेट स्पेशली। कोर्स कंप्लीशन तो चलता है, कोई ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, लेकिन कोई ग्लोबल सर्टिफिकेट अपलोड कर रहा है। अभी जस्ट एक सर्टिफिकेट मैंने देखा, एक बच्चा सर्विस नाउ का है, उसने अपना सीरियल नंबर के साथ वो ये लिंक्डइन में डाल दिया है। उससे क्या होगा ना, तुम्हारा दूसरे बच्चे भी अगर सेम नाम के, क्योंकि वो लोग क्या करते हैं ना, जब जनरेट करते हैं तो इतना ज्यादा, बहुत सारी कंपनियां वेरीफाई ज्यादा नहीं करती है। वो तुम्हारा जो रिलीज किया सर्टिफिकेट उसका तो ठीक है, उसके पास पूरा डाटा है, तुम्हारा पूरा रिकॉर्ड है, तुम्हारा ईमेल आईडी है, तुम्हारा जो पर्सनल डिटेल तुम दिए वो सब है। लेकिन जब तुम्हारा सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस होता है ना किसी किसी कंपनी में जहाँ पे तुम अपना ग्लोबल सर्टिफिकेट शो करते हो, तो वो लोग कुछ कुछ कंपनी ऐसी भी होती है कि जो पूरा वेरीफाई नहीं करते। वो देखते हैं कि अच्छा इसके पास ये नाम का लड़का है, इसका सर्टिफिकेट ये दिखा रहा है, तो हम उसको शॉर्टलिस्ट करते हैं, नेक्स्ट प्रोसेस के लिए जाएंगे। तो वहां पे तुम्हारा सर्टिफिकेट भी कोई और यूज कर सकता है उस कंडीशन में। बाद में पता नहीं वेरीफाई हुआ नहीं हुआ, कहीं नहीं हुआ तो वो निकल जाएगा, अपना सिलेक्शन ले लिया। तो ऐसा गलती मत करो। सीरियल नंबर कभी भी जब शेयर करते हो, खासकर ग्लोबल सर्टिफिकेट का, वो CCNA का हो, सर्विस नाउ हो, AWS का हो, गूगल का हो, जो भी ग्लोबल सर्टिफिकेशन कर रहे हो उसका सीरियल नंबर हमेशा हाइड करके पोस्ट करना है कोई भी सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म पर। रिमेंबर दिस। अभी मैं जस्ट अभी